Is the sum total of the ideas and the actions of individual men and women who get up every day and decide what history is going to be. And so I'm just delighted to be here with all of you, and I just hope that we all remember this role that we play. We're empowered more now than ever before in our history to make sure that the history that we create every day, day in and day out, and especially in the election cycles that are coming up, are history based on freedom, because if so, it'll be a history of the prosperity and opportunity that only comes from freedom. So thank you for all that you do. And thank you.
Coolidge had a lot to say about taxation. And recall, he left office with a surplus. One of my favorites comes from his inaugural address on March 4th, 1925. The collection of any taxes which are not absolutely required, which do not, beyond reasonable doubt, contribute to the public welfare, is only a species of legalized larceny. The wise and correct course to follow in taxation is not to destroy those who have already secured success, but to create conditions under which everyone will have a better chance to be successful. That is why the National Taxpayers Union serves as a valuable and much-needed watchdog in Washington, and why I find it a reliable and essential resource to keep an eye on these characters whose only convictions seem to come in court. Thanks for your time.
I never thought I'd be pushing so hard for them to put earmarks in bills, but I guess it's better than keeping them out and then adding them in the conference report. But then later today, they thought better of it, I guess, and they're off the deal. I wondered, you know, as Boy Scouts, I'm a Boy Scout counselor, and I often have Boy Scouts coming over and writing letters to their congressman. They get a merit badge for that, citizenship of the nation. And I'm wondering if that's what we get as well. We write, we might not get satisfaction, we might just get a merit badge. But I think it's a pretty bad trade to trade in your voting card as a member of Congress for the ability to write a letter and complain about an earmark.
We're going to know what to do right this time, and part of that is getting rid of earmarking and turn money back over to people in the states and get the federal government out of trying to manage every aspect of our lives. So we'll keep fighting that fight, and the ultimate result of less spending, as you know, gets back to your main subject, which is keeping taxes low. The other thing we need to do is to force to the forefront tax reform, real tax reform. We've got to keep talking about a simpler tax code, a more transparent tax code, where people know how much taxes they're paying, and it will put more pressure to keep taxes low. The way it is now, people don't know how much taxes they're paying. It's coming out of their paycheck, and the whole process is so confusing.
I don't think it's complicated. I think all our problems come from the fact that we have little, if no, respect for the rule of law, and that is the Constitution, and we can solve a lot of our problems, whether it's the monetary policy, whether it's the foreign policy, or the entitlement system, by doing something very simple, and that is following the Constitution. Take our oath of office very seriously, and don't vote for these programs that are unconstitutional. And I think the American people are waking up to this. I think they asked us to do that in 1994, and we didn't do a very good job. They asked for it again in the year 2000, and we haven't done the job. And the Republicans really got hurt last year, and I think it's because we have failed on the promises to shrink the size of the government. I don't want to just slow up the growth of government. I want to actually shrink the government, and I want to shrink it significantly so that we can live within our means.
What we're trying to do is be about, as I think Senator Goldwater once said, we're supposed to be about the business of liberty, about the empowerment of people, about giving people more rights and opportunities and chances to be more independent within their own society. And this goes to the heart of tax policy, which is why, John, I was so happy to be invited to be here today. Tax policy and controlling spending and tax cuts for people have been at the heart of my public life, my entire life. It is the essence of liberty. I'm going to just say it and then move on quickly. If you take money away from people which they have earned, you drain away their capital. And that depreciates the opportunity for them to be more independent and to have their own savings accounts and their own retirement accounts and their own ability to put down a down payment so they can leverage capital and maybe get into business and be more independent.
Now, this is very, very important, because if a government raises its revenue unfairly, then the people who are part of the polity, who are governed by this government, recognize that they will not be treated fairly in anything else the government does. And the United States of America treats taxation revenue unfairly. And so what is the consequence of that is very straightforward. People lack confidence in the government, and they resent paying taxes. People, if they know that they're going to get value for taxes, just like when they're going to buy something of a personal nature, they're prepared to pay that. But they don't think they're getting value, and I can tell you, after 16 years of elective office, they don't get value.
You are engaged, we are engaged together in the greatest human rights effort of our time. The effort to win protection for the people and the people's income and the people's property against the unlimited taking of governance. And future generations will thank you for the work you are doing.